your method on how you guys gather intel, it seems to be a pattern that a lot of these, like, it's almost like if I was to audit you to see what your game plan is, you tend to target people that work in the office that are gay, that, let me just say it and then just flush mine out and call me out and say, no, I disagree. So through Grindr, dating sites, you'll go in, step number one, let's identify anybody on this administration that is gay. All right, great. Step number two, go on Grindr and see if you see their profile that matches this. Great. Let's make 20 different profiles and let's see if one of the ones he'll fall for. Mm-hmm. Great. 4, schedule a date to go out and put the camera and the recording on you and nonchalant ask, what do you do? And act like you don't know what they're doing. You don't have a clue who they are and act dumb. And then step number 6, let's have a couple drinks, loosen them up, make them feel like you're ready to go home and have some fun with them. Step number 7, say, let's follow up. I have to go home. I'm so sorry. And then number 8, release the information. Is that pretty spot on the system and the approach you guys take, or am I missing a few steps?
You might be missing a few, but I think that's not 100% of what we do. That might be like 30% of that's one technique to get information. Yes.
Okay. So if that's the case,
mm-hmm.
How come? Have you had any, or have you tried? Maybe the better question is to say, I am sure you've tried to get Fauci. I'm sure you've tried to get his people. I am sure you've tried to, see how you can find him to get him in a place to open up and talk. The question would be, 1, have you? 2, why have you not been that successful with Fauci?
Specifically Anthony Fauci.
I am specifically talking about Anthony Fauci.
The man, not his staff, for example.
Well, anybody that's his lieutenants, that would be his staff as well. That's still a very valuable asset because what you did with Pfizer was very powerful. Why haven't you been successful with Fauci?
I don't have a legitimate excuse there. I suppose I like to say this to my staff that, and I hate to refer to myself in the third person, but O'Keefe Media, my organization, we always get the story. Sometimes it just might take longer for us to get it. So I would say we haven't gotten him yet. Have I made the attempts? I mean, we did so many stories about Pfizer specifically, but to your point, why haven't we gone after this man in particular? Oh, I remember about 2-3 years ago, I did some, everything I'm talking about is legal, but I did a lot of surveillance on him for a number of days and moved on to the next story. So I suppose I don't really have a good excuse there, and that's something that I should get him to open up about.
I don't know if I told you last time we were together, there was a story of an insurance guy who had a couple prostitutes on his payroll, and this guy sells big insurance policies, something called premium financing. And one day, one of his competitors steals give or take a $5 million insurance policy away from him. And he finds out that he stole that $5 million insurance policy and coerced the client to go with him instead of the other guy. Anyways, this guy's step number 1, someone's computer keeps going off. Can you lower the audio? Yeah. So he sends first a private investigator to see patterns. For about a month, they measure his patterns. What restaurants he goes to, at what time, where he sits, what he orders, who's his waiter, who's his waitress. A month later, after doing a private investigation and seeing his patterns, he sends the girl. The girl goes, sits at the bar. She knows where he's going to be at what time. And right next to him, she gets emotional and she smiles at him. He starts talking and say, hey, what's going on? Is everything okay with you? I'm so sorry. I'm just really going through a really hard time. She starts crying. She opens up to him. She says, I'm so embarrassed crying here. He follows her, goes upstairs to a room. Boom. They have the recording, the footage. He sends the footage to the other agent, says, hey, this is what you did. You need to send that client back over to me. Do you go as far as that to measure patterns of an individual to see what restaurants and places to go to be able to track it? Or, is that one of the other 70%?
That's an extreme example, but we have done things like that. There is something that we're working on right now where we were tracking down corruption in D.C., which you'll see in a month or so, which is serious story. And we had to find a specific individual or a specific organization. So you can't do a dating app thing. You got to do it a different way. You might pretend to, and we don't do exactly what you just said, but you might create an alias. Let's say you're a headhunter, or you're hiring. So you whatever a person needs, someone needs something. Undercover work is about identifying what that need is and providing that thing to them so that you can get access to them. Undercover work is all about access. How do you get access to someone? The easiest way is a dating app, because everyone needs love and affection and so forth and so on, or they believe the person they're meeting with could be a possible future partner. That's the easiest and most expedient way. But you make a really good point about Anthony Fauci, and frankly, I don't have a good excuse, and I usually don't do this on live television, but maybe I should send a team to get him to open up. It's a good idea. I don't think me saying this will stop him. That's the other thing. These people are so arrogant that people often say, how do these people keep talking to you like this? And the truth is, because I'm not a psychologist, but for lack of a better word, they're all narcissists.
They think they're untouchable.
That's right. And they don't even look at us. It's almost like they're confessing. They just don't even think. It's impossible for them to think they could be held accountable for what they're saying. And we have a whole bunch of what we call swipers. We call them the American swipers. And these are girls, some guys. I do this sometimes, and I go on these lunch meetings, dinner meetings, and they just spill the beans. A lot of guys in the deep state in Washington that work for these organizations, the Pentagon, Department of Defense, and they're talking about they're resisting Donald Trump from the inside. Don't tell anybody I'm doing this. And they'll always say it within the first 15 minutes. And some of them have security clearances.
Yeah, that's the part where when you're putting a team together, you have to measure their level of ambition to be cool, right? To kind of say, let me tell you what I know. Wink, wink. Let's keep it between us. I'm cool. It goes back to Jonah Mendez, the chief disguise officer I had on the podcast. I interviewed her right in front of the White House. And I said, what's a good quality of being a CIA agent? I said, is it charming? Is it great in sales? Is it being a great persuader? Is it being this? Is it being that? He says, it's all of that and then some. However, there's one quality we look for. What's that? If you just got the information that you're watching TV, you just saved the free world, you don't need to brag about it to anybody else. Wow. That's the quality of a good CIA agent. What a freaking perspective. So for me, if you're bringing guys in, like you almost have to size them up to see how much are you trying to be cool. Like, for example, Scott Bessent gives me a lot of good vibes of a guy that could give a shit about being cool. Makes sense, because this guy worked on the roof for 15 years, almost 14 years. First term was, I think, 9 years under Soros, then 5 years as his chief investment officer, if I'm not mistaken. Prior to him going up there, the average person didn't know who he was. They kind of knew, but they didn't know who he was. It was like, whoa, who is this guy, right? And then he goes in, but some of the guys that get in there, they're really, really ambitious with fame. And fame tends to get a hold of you and corrupt you in ways, because behind closed doors, you want to be sitting in a room saying, let me tell you what I know. That's very hard to find people like that on the inside. Very hard to, have people around you that know information on what things you guys are working on, and they want to brag to nobody. When I was running my insurance company, we'd always have big announcements. Like first time I had Kobe Bryant as a keynote speaker, the late Kobe Bryant. I didn't tell anybody. At that event, I announced him and George Bush as keynote speakers. Until the very end, only 2 people know that those 2 were the keynote speakers. I didn't tell anybody. And when we announced, my own wife didn't know. Nobody knew. When we announced, everyone's like, what? Yes. But I could only tell 2 people.
You didn't tell your wife?
Nobody knew, because it's exciting news. It's not even like for some people, like they want to say it. They can't control the excitement. Oh my God, I can't wait to meet him. Oh my God, I can't wait that he's coming down, right? So for some, it's purely from an innocent excitement standpoint. For some, it's about, let me tell you what I know. Don't tell anybody, right? Dude, that filtering process of getting people like that on your team.
That's almost impossible.
That's almost impossible.
Yep.
But that is the mission of how to surround yourself with good people.
Ooh, that's a tough thing to do. The only way you can do that is if you've never had a run rate with them, to accelerate the testing, because your character has to be tested. It takes about a couple of years.
How do you do that? I'm just curious your thoughts on how do you do that.
You test them. It takes a couple of years. You test them with level 3 information and see if that gets leaked. It's easy. Go ahead and leak that. I don't want you to leak it, but if you do, I now know who you are.
Right.
And then once I do that, I know I can never have you on level 2 type of meetings. I can only have you on level 4 type of meetings. I can't invite you to level 2 type of meetings because you leak information. So that's the part where a little bit here, oh, you can't know. Little bit there, oh, you cannot. Like you have kids. You know how you're like, let me test to see if this guy can handle some bad news at this age. You give it to him, he panics and has anxiety. Like, I can't give you bad news. But you give this other guy some bad news about what's going on with family, he can handle it. You're like, this guy's a gamer. He's not there yet. Because this guy gets distracted. This guy with bad news, he knows how to keep it to himself, stay strong. Okay, good. I can handle talking high-level conversation with this level of my kid, but not this one.
Like a controlled leak almost.
It's a controlled leak to test what the individuals know. This is a very difficult thing to do, and I bet at a job with Donald Trump, when you're at that level, all you can do is, James, what do you think about John? James, what do you think about Cash? Let's say you don't have a relationship with him. Let's say you don't have a relationship with some of these guys. What do you think about him? I think he's good. And then you're hoping the person I'm asking is a tier 1 person that can filter out a person that's a tier 4. Do I make this person a tier 2? I don't know if this is making sense. Like, you have to almost like lean on somebody else you trust to filter them out. So the reason why I'm going here is to see, you know, how for somebody to get to the level of the president, where you saw the first term, how many people he hired that turned on him, flipped on him. What did his methodology for phase 2 in 2024 change?
Hello, everyone. I'm James O'Keefe. Been doing this journalism thing for about 20 years. Truth, justice, exposing corruption, everything that comes along with it. If you want to connect with me, talk to me about any of this, you can connect with me through Minect. You can see the QR code below. Look forward to hearing from you.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.